But,
Here we go. Starting the show.
And we're off.
What's funny is I'm not,
Yeah, you know what? Just let it go.
dead sober.
It happened. It
happened. I can't.
Yeah, dead sober. You're like, I just had some wine. I got a little bourbon.
Are you kidding? Wine? I drink that to sober up. Like, that's like, you know?
Just to find your equilibrium.
Right. That's what I drink to come down.
Where do we even start? I don't even know.
Where do we start? Look,
shots fell. They came out. Thank God they did. I was like, 5 o'clock is the witching hour on Christmas because you've been up, if you have kids, you've been up for 12 hours at that point anyways, and you've been going nonstop. At this point, most likely you've had a couple drinks. You just had a massive meal, especially if you were timing it to go before the game. And if the Celtics come out slow and it becomes an ugly one, you might just nod off. But the Celtics, it was the opposite. Horford does his typical corner three to kick things off. Jaylen Brown was hot to get things. Everybody was hitting three. I think there were 5 or 6 from three to start. It's as simple as that. You hit the shots, you're gonna jump out to a lead. Now, credit to the Bucks. They hung around. They ended up making it a 1-point game at halftime, which I was a little nervous about because I thought the Celtics played pretty well, and then they kind of let the Bucks climb back in that second half. Like second half of the second half, Brown misses the 3 straight free throws, which is kind of tough to go into the half that way. But they came out strong. Tatum, another 40-point game. I feel like he's breaking a record every single game.
Like a ho-hum 40-point game. He just got it.
He's breaking a record like every single tonight he's like the youngest player in the last 12 years to score 40 plus on Christmas. I saw that online somewhere. I think he's like the 3rd most points in a Celtic uniform on Christmas. So this guy's just consistently making a name for himself in Boston. As Bobby would say, this one will go down in the history books. We
are going to talk about where we were when Jaylen Brown scored 41 points against an undermanned Bucks team on Christmas. So Joe Sway will welcome you in. Look, I hate to simplify it in the whole make this league sort of universe, but holy crap, did they make shots? The shoot, Joe Sway, kind of noisy behind you, buddy. I don't know if it's a headphone issue or what's picking up. But go ahead and talk. What do you got?
Am I good? You guys got me?
Yeah, it sounds like there's a PA announcer behind you, but you sound good.
Yeah, is that Eddie Palladino behind you?
Something like that.
Look at the numbers. 60% from the floor, almost 50 from 3, 20 of 25 free throws. A ridiculous game. 139. This was an early in the season game, where it's just kind of like the other team's trying to keep it close and the Celtics are just splash, 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 and then the ball game is over. Jaylen, started strong, kind of went astray, and then in the fourth quarter, just friggin' everything. Bang, 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 bang. Tatum, all night. Just a ridiculous game tonight in terms of like the stuff that was falling and how easy it looked. Some of these were not easy shots they were making either.
Right.
They just friggin' lit it up. But Joe Sway, you're there. You have the benefit of getting to see it in person, and good energy night. You could tell this felt like they were kind of. You figured Golden State's that game they would have gotten up for, and they weren't, and they got smoked. This game felt like they were definitely up tonight. They were into it. Yeah.
And you can see they can control the tempo. But also, I was concerned going into the second half, and I talked to Bobby about that during our halftime report, about just how the Bucks were comfortable offensively. In the sense of hanging around, right? They were shooting well over 50% at the half.
Yep.
You saw that sort of that transition into, if they can just keep going a little bit longer, they're going to hang around. But then came Tatum. That third quarter from Jayson Tatum was the difference. He was the best player on the floor. And, of course, a floor that also had Giannis Antetokounmpo on there. He outplayed him, and I think that certainly was a big part in this. And that offense was contagious for the Celtics as well. They flirted with 60% from the floor, even when the garbage guys came in. Man, they were still clicking on all cylinders. Luke Cornett with the dunk, with the little, I don't know what that was, another flex or some sort of shout out to somebody, some sort of homage, I guess. But that's how they looked offensively. It was contagious, I think, for sure.
Yeah, Bobby's gonna whip out the Cornett translator and talk to him, I'm sure, like 55 minutes from now while we wait for him to come on the show. And he's like, wait a second, I got to figure out what Luke was trying to say. But we'll get to him eventually. Gelso, they're dying for you, buddy. Just come on, join us. At least pop in and say hello.
John, I think he needs the link. Do you have the link for him? He just texted us.
What?
Yeah, apparently he doesn't know how to access.
He owns the
his
friggin'
own-
company.
Apparently he
Access the
doesn't-
thing.
He literally creates the link, but he doesn't have
Jeez
the link.
Louise.
I was gonna say, how does
You
that
gotta
work?
spoon feed him the link to get on his own show.
Take the back door. All right, I just sent it to him. Anyway, thank you guys. Merry Christmas to all.
Hold
We
that door.
appreciate you guys joining us.
Hold that door.
Yeah.
Hold that door.
It was fun, man. It's fun to see that. I mean, in terms of, I hate saying like, what can we learn from it? I hate the fact Middleton didn't play. Here's the problem. Somebody tweeted this at me. Like, is Middleton entering Kemba territory? No, I don't think so. But Middleton having a tough time staying healthy here is going to be a concern for the Bucks this year for sure. But again, this was a measuring stick game. You want to, you want to beat the best, if you can. And they didn't have a chance to. It doesn't matter. It's still a very good Bucks team. But the reason it's going to be like, what can we take out of it win is because they shot so friggin' great. So did they get back to anything offensively that was allowing them to play this way, or did the shots just fall?
I think it was being more patient. I think they're not just looking for the first open look every single time. And I think that was sort of wore the Bucks down. I mean, look, they were going back and forth from the beginning. I mean, it wasn't like the Celtics were just completely controlling the entire game, but I felt like on offense, they now know where there's options. They weren't so desperate. And heading into this one, I was worried that the Bucks would get out to a quick start. The Celtics start getting into that panic mode, play as if it's like 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. But they never reached that point because they certainly were well in front of the Bucks for most of the night. But they did a really good job in keeping that same sort of focus on offense. And, of course, take care of the basketball, really limiting the turnovers and making the Bucks pay on defensive stops for sure. 2 quick passes, up the floor, especially in that first quarter. Those defensive stops went a long way, I thought. And I think offensively they were just
hey, I'll be back in 2 seconds.
More confident, They looked like they were just, making sure that they were going to get the best look no matter what, even though it may not have been the first one. They were just looking for the best look of each possession.
Hold on, they're screaming here, Josue. Keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those games that I certainly think the Bucks wanted to come in here and deliver a message and show to everyone that they're right up there with the Celtics. And of course, you wish Chris Middleton was out there. You wish you could see that whole picture. But the Bucks, this is sort of part of who they are right now this year, right? They have to sort of figure out how to win games without Middleton, and that's not an old story for these guys. But when you're going up against a team like the Celtics, I mean, I think this was a big test for them, and they have to go back and really just assess what happened here and how they can do better for sure. But this is a big win for the Celtics.
Jimmy, did you get that family photo in?
I didn't, unfortunately, for them.
You're too late.
They literally asked me, like, as the show was like counting down, and I was like, dude, I was around for 6 hours today. So it's not a family photo if I'm not in it. So I guess I'd have to wait.
They could just Photoshop you in. I think
Is that the joke? To get my face all red for my family photo?
So I look like this on camera.
What else? What did I
We gotta
miss?
send John. I think you should lead the show so you can get.
I don't know. I think he would absolutely hate it, to be completely honest.
I think John would like it.
You
You
think
heard
he
of
would
it?
like it?
Like what? Hate what?
I think you should leave
on
the
Netflix.
show.
Oh, I've seen it 100
It's like
times.
our favorite show. Oh,
Yeah, I know.
So you like
I know
it?
you guys reference it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you just hate the
I've
show.
snuck in references, and they've gotten by you a couple of times.
I don't believe that for a
I
second.
have. I've said I don't want to be here anymore a couple of times.
That doesn't get by me. I obviously acknowledge that.
I thought you were just saying that. I didn't know it was a reference.
I don't want to be here anymore.
I don't even want to be.
What do you? I'm the king of comedy. There's not a lot that is purportedly.
You
funny
can't call yourself the king of comedy.
Meaning,
Somebody
I love
else
comedy.
has-
I'll watch anything if it's supposed to be fun. Like it's not
Well,
me. I'm
it's
not.
just one of those shows.
I'm
where
not funny.
I think most people like comedy. People are like, ugh.
No,
Comedy,
but I'm
get
a
it away from me."
connoisseur.
Okay, so
I'm
we
a
should go to you for everything funny.
You
It's a
should.
great show.
Okay, there are some people that just don't get it, and those people I don't even. I've unfriended them. I've taken them out of my life.
Well, if you tell people it's amazing, they're gonna be let down.
Yeah, you can't overhype it. You can't.
Yeah.
You just have to toss it on. And it's honestly funnier seeing what their reaction is.
Yeah.
Without
People are
going
wondering
into-
where
anyways,
Nick is. Last time we tried to get Nick on, his head was like this.
Nick is boomerang right now.
Nick's boomering hard right now. So we're gonna try to get him on.
It's got the Boston view in the back.
Yeah.
Did the Celtics break the Bucks tonight? Like
Are the
like
Celtics the
Warriors
best
broke
Christmas
the Celtics?
movie? Sorry.
No, the best Christmas song.
What do you think? They got frustrated. You know what I love? I love watching. In the same way, like I'm sure, like when Tatum has these horrible games, other teams will be like, "This guy's not so bad," you know, like, and he hasn't had many this year. So, but when you see Giannis play bad, you know, jacking threes, getting frustrated, you're getting in his head. He can't get where he wants to go, and he can't be his his Giannis self. That makes you feel pretty good, right?
Right.
Like Middleton or no Middleton, when you're able to neutralize one of the most unstoppable forces on the planet, that's a pretty good feeling.
It is. And these guys got shooters too. I mean, you saw that sort of momentum coming in that fourth quarter where he can go to guys for quick threes. But at the same time, the Celtics offense was matching that same energy, right? Guys hitting down, knocking down 3-pointers, shooting well over 50%. I mean, the Bucks, it was just the lead that the Celtics built in that third quarter was just too much to overcome. And of course, that's all Tatum. I mean, those 20 points went a long way heading into the fourth quarter.
1,000%. And they took him out of his comfort zone. You know, he was jacking threes that he should not have been taking.
Yeah.
So it was kind of weird to watch some of his play today. Tatum literally dunked on his head, put him on the poster, add him to the list. He's got a couple superstars now.
Another victim.
You know? Yeah, another victim. That was a great dunk. Brown almost had one, not on Giannis, but just on Brook Lopez. Just missed that dunk. So these guys came out with a lot of energy today. They were feeling the Christmas spirit, I think. The crowd was into it. And when you start off the way they did, you can build off it. I mean, so many of their losses over the last couple of weeks have just been horrible starts. Where it's just they're constantly trying to claw back in the rest of the way, and you don't allow the other team to start forcing things and to get uncomfortable. And it pretty much looked like when Giannis wasn't able to do what Giannis does, there wasn't enough on that Bucks roster. I mean, Holiday's a great player. We know that. Lopez is playing like one of the best defensive players in the league this season. But the Celtics dropped 139 points on them. Like that's
heavy duty.
Pretty damn serious stuff. They shot almost 60% from the field today. You know, we talked about the 3-pointers falling, especially early on, and just a really impressive win. I mean, and that's why it was important to. Everyone said, "Oh, they didn't even play well against Minnesota." Well, you know what? They did what they had to do. They got the win. They built some momentum up, and they felt good going into this game. Whereas Milwaukee got their doors blown off going into this game, and that does, I think, have a tendency to carry over at points. You know, you're on the road, going on the road. So credit to the Celtics, another good win here, and I think I'm not saying that everything is fixed what was wrong with them, but this is one of those wins that you can definitely hang your hat on, build some momentum, have some confidence about, and feel good, you know, going into the new year here.